this isn't the first time that I've been perplexed at a Kevin Durant series. Like in Brooklyn, there was like Boston just took him out of the series. Tony Allen, Tony Allen's a great defender, but Tony Allen once took him out of a Memphis series, like just took him out of the series. It's just, there's certain things with Durant where it's, again, A triple plus talent and sometimes an A resume.
This is going to sound like so much hate, and I swear it's not. Welcome back to the Warner Brothers podcast. This is technically a part 2. Keenan and I just did the draft episode with Tim. But hey, we are in the middle. We're officially in the thick of it, Keenan. We are in the middle of the first round of the NBA playoffs. After tonight, I believe all the game 2s will be over with, so we will officially be done with the original homestands. Can I actually have a running diary going for these playoffs that I'm going to keep going? So I've got a first round running diary going right now. I'll read you some of the notes that I have. I don't know how you feel, Keenan. I am in love with these playoffs so far. Like
Amazing.
Love playoffs.
Other than Wemby going down with a concussion because you want all your stars to be playing. But even like, a best case scenario out of all, it could have been a broken jaw. That could have been something.
Could have been a broken neck.
Yeah, no, like literally, like best case scenario was the fact that he has a concussion and could be back realistically for Game 5. And it could be, even Game 4, but I would assume Game 5, especially if the Spurs win Game 3, I think they're going to rest and be like, hey, we'll take our chances 2-2 going back to San Antonio with this guy. We're better than the Blazers. But it's been amazing. It's been amazing. Because there's unsure everywhere. Even teams that you're like, okay, that team's not going to do anything. The only thing I don't think is the Suns are going to win a game, really. That's really it. Other than that, you can tell me anything right now.
I agree.
Because the Sixers Sixers could go 6 with Boston. We both predicted them to possibly go 6 with Boston. And the way they looked, last night, golly.
Listen, shouts to Jamie, a homegirl Jamie. We've been talking about the playoffs all week. And I was saying to her today, and I just said it to you, like, I think this is one of the better playoffs in recent memory.
Uh-huh.
And she was kind of going off saying how, like, there has been good series the last few years, which is true. And we've had really good first rounds because we always have an overqualified first round or two, seemingly.
Yeah.
But there seems to be a lot of suspense in these first rounds right now, which I love. Like, I feel like there's at least 4 series that could go either way. Before I get to some of my notes, we get to some real discussion. I stumbled upon this post on IG today. This is from the Instagram account called Half Past Noon. They post a lot of just cool stats and a bunch of just cool, unique NBA stuff. Mm-hmm. But they've got 10 stats for the playoffs that I think are interesting. And I want to read them off to you right now, okay?
Yeah.
Luke Kennard averaged 8 points per game for the regular season. Right now, he's averaging 25. So that's one thing that's happening right now. Scoot Henderson is the youngest player in Portland history to record a 30-point playoff game. We will definitely talk about that series. Scoot Henderson renaissance, if there is such a thing, being that young. The Celtics shot about 53s against Philadelphia in Game 2. They only made 13, so 13 for 50. Typical Boston Celtics Game 2 letdown. VJ Edgecombe is the first rookie with 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 threes in a playoff game in NBA history. Very first.
And that's not a cherry pick stat to me. Like, I know the 5.
Yeah, no. 30, 10, and 5 threes.
That's not a cherry, because it's always like first person with 32, 14, and 9 on. It's like, okay. But no, 30, even 10, 5 threes. That's not a cherry pick stat. That's actually really interesting.
Ken, I think you'll like this one. On Monday, the Hawks won on the road in spite of trailing by 12 to start the fourth quarter. What do you think the overall record is for teams trailing by 12 in the fourth quarter on the road?
It's probably like 4 and 150 or something like that. So
pretty close to the ridiculousness of that. 32?
Yeah.
And 1,296.
Yeah, no, I didn't give this many credits to all the blowouts. Yeah, like but to the percentage wise, probably roughly the same. So, I mean, I think that was the first time. I think I heard the first time the Knicks had blown a 10-point fourth quarter lead since the Reggie Miller choke game in the playoffs. I want to say like that was the thought. So it's like that's probably the worst loss of the entire playoffs so far.
So far.
So obviously it's gonna be probably a worse one, but like that's
for sure.
We will
see some version of the maybe not exactly the Tyrese Halliburton Benedict Mathurin game, but we will get our version of whatever the
Nesmith too, because Nesmith was just
Nesmith, not Benedict Mathurin.
I watched it I watched it like last week because it was like 5 threes in 2 minutes. He was on one.
I got my two guards mixed up there. This one's funny because the Magic and Pistons are playing right now. Magic shot 19 free throws in game 1 in their win, and the Pistons shot 38 free throws. We'll talk about that game because it is going on right now, as well as game 1 here in a sec. CJ McCollum is averaging 29 points per game on 63% true shooting the first 2 games in the series. Cannot wait to talk about CJ. This is great. This is a great stat. Jokic and Murray went a combined 2 for 18 when defended by Rudy Gobert and Jaden McDaniels in game 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this is the last stat here. Through the first 2 games of the series, Toronto has scored 7 isolation points to the Cleveland Cavaliers 45 isolation points. So not getting it done in isolation are the Toronto Raptors.
As I said before, that is the NBA TV series. That is, no one cares. That the only reason why the Thunder and the Suns aren't the NBA TV series is just because the Thunder are the 1 seed, but otherwise that's just that could be the background series. It's the one you don't need to stay up for. Like, I'm fine.
What'd you pick that series? Did you pick that one competitive? I thought
I had it in 5, and I was giving respect to the Suns in game 3.
No, I meant Cavs Raptors.
Oh, I think 6. But I said before that it was going to be the NBA. That it was going to be the NBA TV series, but I think I had it in 6. I don't fully know. I think I had it in 6 is what I can tell you. I can't fully tell you, but I think I had it in 6.
So let's talk about that series briefly.
Yeah.
First of all, what games have you not seen in this playoff so far before we get into that?
Watch front to back or paid attention to?
Like what's the least series that you like? Because I happen to miss most of the first San Antonio Portland game. I'd say I caught everything else this weekend, including the playing games, but I missed at least 3 quarters. I'd say 2.5 quarters of San Antonio Portland game 1.
Cavs Raptors would be the game 2 because their Boston was on, and then the Spurs played after, I think it was, or whatever. They were the first game. But I kept tabs on it, and Brandon Ingram played horrendously. He had maybe the worst game of his career. But other than that,
2 games.
Yeah, other than that, I've legitimately either watched the entirety or caught a lot of every playoff game. I've been as locked in as possible.
This Raptors-Cavs series, obviously I want to mainly talk about the Cavs. They're handling their business. I think I picked this for a sweep. It's looking like a sweep. I believe it will be a sweep. I really think this Cavs team has a chance at the NBA Finals. Not necessarily winning it all, but to get out of the East. And they're showing it. They're showing not only with their depth, I love the intensity that they're bringing on defense. They're physical on the perimeter. And I think if it does end up being a sweep, you're almost going to look at this like a scrimmage series before they get to who would they play in round 2? So it'd be Knicks, Celtics in round 2. So it'd be Detroit or Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one of those teams they play, it's going to be physical. They'll have the talent advantage, I would think, in either one of those. Harden looks good, which he usually does early on in the series. He looks motivated. He's got a spring to his step. The 2 bigs are playing well. Jared Allen was a little more quiet in game 2. But that's really what stood out to me is just how sharp they are. They seem sharp. They seem physical. They seem to have a spring in their step. I think they've wanted Toronto all along. I don't think they had any problem at all just chilling at the 4 seed. So that's
I
really
think
what
they
I'm seeing.
wanted. I
I
think
love
they were
their
fine
defense,
at the 4-2 because they wanted to avoid Boston until the last
right?
available moment. So like when you knew Detroit was going to be the one, they're like, we can beat Detroit. We have better players than Detroit. So realistically, they can get comfortably to the conference finals. I wouldn't be shocked by that at all. I think Detroit possibly can get, but also at the same time, Detroit's right now showing that Cade really. I thought that Jenkins was going to be, or Dennis Jenkins. Dennis? I don't know why I can't pronounce his first name, but I'm being drunk. But I thought that Jenkins was essentially going to be a guy now having to play multiple times that off the bench. He was going to be a factor, and he still could be a factor, but he hasn't been really so far in these playoffs. We'll see. But the fact that the Magic can make this a physical 6-game series, possibly, could bode well for the Cavs because the Cavs will be pretty much rested and fresh.
Yeah,
So,
the only way the Raptors can make this a series is if Brandon Ingram decides to be
a human.
just flat out a star. We don't even need him to be a superstar. Just be a franchise player. Do what CJ McCollum's doing for the Hawks. Assert yourself, get aggressive, get the ball. I don't want to hear anything about, oh, coach is calling plays where I'm a screener. You're the number one scorer on this team. Go get the ball and be active with it. Just be aggressive.
There's
It's
not an
not
excuse. I don't care what's going on. There's not an excuse when you're that high level of a player to not get the ball and be. You can have bad games. We've seen plenty of players have bad games, but it was the difference between a lot of the Kobe games, maybe the Mike games, other people's games, where it was like they look aggressive, they look into it, they're just off today. Rather than some of like the early LeBron games where it was like he just looks disengaged and not interested.
go
But
down
like obviously
swearing.
you don't see that anymore with LeBron. Obviously he's phenomenal, but like that was just a different. Like you can have a bad game. Everyone has a bad game, but just we can't have you disinterested or like shy. Brandon Ingram, you are a certified bucket. Honestly, like you are a professional, high level NBA scorer. Go prove it. You can do it against anybody on that floor. I don't care who it is. You are that good of a scorer where you can go get a bucket on anybody. So I'm with you there. That's all I got for Raptors coverage. So, and then for the Cavs, I think they're legitimately they have the arguably the second best chance. And if you said the second best chance to get out of the East, I can't be mad at it. So that's where my feelings lie on that series, and that's pretty much it. That's all I got.
Yeah. So Celtics Sixers.
Yep.
Game one, obviously, we get a Celtics blowout. Game two, we get a Sixers win going away,
Yeah.
where the Celtics did not match their energy at all.
Mhm.
We have seen this time and time again from the Celtics specifically. Sorry, I was just going to watch that 3 there as this game winds down. Pistons are up 15 on the Orlando Magic.
Yeah, they try. I was gonna say they're trying. Pistons were trying to give this game a little bit away, but
Yeah, Orlando's got their bench guys in, and they're still kind of in it. They're playing hard.
yeah,
I'm kind of surprised that the Magic's got their guys on the bench, but Pistons got their starters in. But Celtics Sixers, I picked it in 6, and I still think it could go 6. It obviously could just go 5 too. Embiid is doing strength and conditioning right now. That's one thing I did read. He's doing strength and conditioning. If they can steal a game, one of these next 2, if they can at least get it to 2-2 and you got Embiid coming back in game 6, who knows? Who knows? With Embiid, this team can play with anybody. We saw that at the end of the season. They were humming on all cylinders between Maxey, between Paul George, between Embiid. Shit, the 7 guys they really have right now, they're playing hard, which is why I gave them 6, is because they kind of have an identity when it's just those 7. And Nick Nurse is coaching the hell out of those guys. I actually like what he's done with these guys. I don't know if you're going to get another slogfest out of the Celtics like that. It's probably not likely, but you can have a game where you just outplay them. And Maxey is talented enough to do that. Paul George has got a spring in his step from, missing 25 games. I don't see any reason why they couldn't.
Who had 30,
And
10,
VJ
and
Edgecombe,
5 threes.
100%.
He's not afraid of it.
100%.
It's the thing is with Boston, you're not gonna just beat them by only being more physical than them. You have to have you have to have the talent too. And the thing is, you have to play physical with them. You got to make it tough, but you need bucket getters, which is why I think Detroit will have a tough time if they play Boston is just because if you bottle up Cade, who's going to really be able to get buckets consistently? But I mean, the Sixers have multiple people who can get buckets consistently, and they're not afraid of the Boston Celtics at all. So there's that. But then on the other end, I think the Celtics look very good. Obviously, they had a bad game. They typically have a bad game in the first round. That's just par for the course. I think you can tell how good the Boston team's going to be if they only have one bad game in the first or if they have two bad games in the first. Like if they have two, you're like, okay, this team might be able to get got. And if they have only one, you're like, okay, this team's going to be fine. And then the last thing I want to mention on the team is Jason Tatum looks all the way back. Like not even like no hitch in the step. Like all the way back.
He has pretty much since his second week back looked 90% to 95% back, and I don't at all understand it. I truly don't understand it.
He looks like right now, if you were to just wake up and it was the first round of the playoffs, you'd be like, okay, that's just regular Jason Tatum. Like if you just randomly fell asleep in game 4 of the Knicks series and then you woke up to game 1 of this year's, you'd be like, oh, Jason Tatum looks pretty good. No difference in the step, no difference in the bounce, no difference in anything. Look, Jason Tatum looked pretty good. So yeah, well, that's there. We'll stay in the East.
Let's stick it with this series. Orlando, Detroit. Yep. Detroit's about to win by 15, 98-83. This game, I was obviously watching in between our first podcast with the draft and then finishing up here with this one. And it looked like the biggest thing in game 1 to me was Detroit did not match Orlando's energy. They came out way too cool for school as a 1 seed with their first home playoff game. That concerned me. Obviously, very obviously, they matched it tonight. Great. Let's see if the shot goes in. All right, so they win by 15, 98-83 officially now as it goes to double zeros. Detroit seemingly matched their energy tonight. As you just heard, won by 15. Cade obviously showed out once again. He had an explosive game 1, but he was really the only player on Detroit who showed out in game 1. I cannot wait. First of all, when this series gets to Orlando, one thing I love about this matchup, now that we know that Orlando's here to play, both of these teams are just full of dogs. Yes. We talked about Isaiah Stewart and like what would happen if this was a Hornets series. Orlando is ready-made for like an Isaiah Stewart blow up. Like between Desmond Bane, between Jalen Suggs, like all those guys, Mo Wagner, all those guys, they want to get at you. Mm-hmm. They want to get at you. So they can most definitely, and after what we saw in that Hornets play-in game and how they showed up in game 1, like they are more than worthy to be on the court with Detroit. I would not be surprised if Orlando ultimately ends up winning this series, whether that's in 6 or 7. They've definitely got the talent. What did you think after that game 1 victory going into tonight's game? Obviously, we saw Detroit win. That's not surprising. What did you think, though, coming out of game 1, going into game 2? And going forward to game 3?
That I was happy that Orlando actually won the play-in against the Hornets because you and I both had said we wanted the Hornets, and we said it because it seemed like Orlando didn't want to play basketball anymore, and then over a 48-hour stretch, they decided to go and look like the team we thought they were going to look like all season long. If you told me that...
Did you hear what turned them around? Did you hear this story? This came out today?
No, I didn't.
They said this is kind of crazy because usually when a team doesn't play motivated, like it just, all right, they're out on their coach. They're not going to play hard for their coach. And usually that's that. You can't change it. We've seen it happen to the best of coaches. Apparently, Jamal Mosley put on the players' college highlights during their film session instead of showing the lowlights from the previous game, which would have been against who the fuck they play. That first game, Miami, right? Oh, Sixers. Yeah, of course, Sixers. He did not show any lowlights or any film from that game. He showed them the college highlights, and he apparently showed some college highlights from the staff on their team as well. And apparently that got the morale right. They actually had footage of it, and you could like see like the players were like genuinely joyed by this. So great move by him. You don't see many people. He genuinely might have saved his job depending on how the series goes. But I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. If you would have told me before the season that the Pistons and the Magic were going to be playing in this playoff series, I'd have been like, oh, that makes sense. Probably a 4-5 matchup or even a 3-6 matchup, and Orlando has home court. So that's what I would have thought going into the season. And Orlando and Detroit are in a playoff series, and I would have said before the season, like, that probably goes 6, maybe 7. Now I'm like, this might go 6, maybe 7, because when Orlando's right and they have the talent and they're doing what they're supposed to do, yeah, they're a really good quality team with talent. I know they haven't been healthy this year, and that's been a problem with them, but at the same time, they've also been lackluster. So overall,
I don't see any way now that this doesn't go deep.
Is that
I
Shea
think they'll.
injured? Is he all right?
Yeah, he seems to be holding his hand.
Yeah.
He seems to be holding his left hand.
Ooh,
Actually,
yeah.
looked like he got fouled on that play. Funny enough, and they didn't call it.
Yeah.
I think they split these Orlando games here, which will lead obviously to a 2-2 game 5. I just think it has honestly 7 games written all over it.
Yeah.
I think it'll definitely go 6, but it feels like a 7-game series. And I think it'll be one of those we look back on and we're like, wow, how did we even get that as a first round series?
Mhm.
Obviously, we know Orlando kind of slogged their way through, but this looks more like a semifinals matchup, honestly.
Yep.
And I know Detroit just won by margin, but I don't know. I got high hopes. I think that's
It's the
going to
NBA
be.
playoffs and also the team that loses game 1 at home, if you're the home team, always comes out inspired in game 2.
They
So
often
like
win
that,
big in games.
they often win big in games 2. Like that's just like one of the playoff trends, especially for a team that we expect to be good. So
Yeah.
that's this game. The fact that it was only 15, it's kind of like, oh, I honestly, because at one point it looked like it was gonna be 35. They went on like a 30-3 run in the third quarter. They just like
Orlando. Yeah, they clamped up Orlando in the third, and they battled back, and that's why I'm kind of buying stock in Orlando. They could have rolled over that game, and they battled back to make it a chippy 15. You know what I mean?
yes,
A respectful 15.
Yeah. And their bench players were playing hard, like not just in there for like we're in here for cardio. They were playing there like, hey guys, let's do something crazy. So you're happy with that effort, but yeah.
So moving on to the best series from the Eastern Conference, I'm talking about Hawks Knicks. Getting game 3 tomorrow in Atlanta. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Keen, let me just say this. I was going to save this for later, but I want to talk about it now. You might have swayed me, or maybe these playoffs swayed me. Maybe I do love the NBA playoffs a little more than the NFL because, man, the anticipation between games, and not only that, Madison Square Garden, TD Garden, just certain arenas are just amazing in April, May, and June. Like Boston and New York and Old Oracle, there's no places better. In Chicago, I put Chicago in there too when they're right.
OKC can get live.
OKC's great too, but man, I don't know what it is. The playoff aesthetic in Boston and New York in particular, like you can tell just by YouTube highlights without seeing the court, you can tell what month you're in those two arenas in particular.
Same with Oracle. You're right. Same with Oracle. Oh my lord. Like that first like Warriors run and that second Warriors, you're like, oh, this is a different time. We believe Warriors. You're like, oh, this is different. This is different. No, you're right. You can tell when it's playoff time, and it's not just because the jerseys or the crowd is in the same color coordinated jersey or shirts.
I would say about this series, like in my notes, I got like Knicks seem like the deeper team. This is after game 1. I put Knicks are deep, consistently outworking the other team, but they do feel one creator short for later on in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I think I genuinely feel that way in general, right? But then game 2, the Hawks team that we thought showed up, which by the way, Knicks fans are not happy with you, Keenan, about you saying that the Hawks probably have a chance and that the Knicks are just not a contender, which I love. But the Hawks they match their toughness. That's one thing I love about the Knicks, and that I'll always like. The one thing I will give them, even though I agree with you, I think they're a tad overrated. I'm not going to go as far as you, but I think they're a tad overrated. But one thing I do love about their squad is they're tough. Like I think Josh Hart, Brunson, even Towns. I actually love the way Towns is playing, and I think they're underutilizing Towns.
100%.
Of course, you'll have the entire postseason. I think they're way too, and this is beyond the playoffs. This is regular season and going back to last season. They treat Jalen Brunson on offense like how the Rockets did in Houston, which is fine. That's fine if you want to do that. But when you got someone who like Karl Anthony Towns, who is a weapon, we get weapons in football. You don't get many weapons in basketball. Karl Anthony Towns is one of those weapons. He is a near 7-foot guy who has range, can put the ball on the floor, and can defend. That's one thing. If I'm a Knicks fan, this is just me watching the Knicks. I would love if they win, and they probably will, because Mike Brown's a smart coach. I would like to see them go double big more and utilize Towns at the 4 and utilize him more as a perimeter defender rather than your main rim protector. If you got Mitchell Robinson as your rim protector and you got Towns kind of as this guy who can trap and, utilizing the pick and roll as the switch defender, I think that makes you a lot more dangerous when you got OG and Mikal Bridges, which I'd love to ask you about a shot at the end of game 2 there, and Josh Hart, who is one of my favorite players in the entire league. I love Josh Hart. So A, what did you think about Mikal Bridges? And B, how do you feel, because we talked about this just on Friday, that it would likely be 1-1 and there's a chance that the Hawks could go up 2-1, and you got CJ McCollum just looking comfortable.
Yeah, so a lot to mention there. First thing is, you're right, the double big works, and I understand that they can get Mitchell Robinson. Like, if we get some foul trouble, you can't obviously go to it, but I think the double big works, and Karl Anthony Towns is, he calls himself the greatest big man shooter ever. Like, he says that, and it's kind of funny, but like at the same time, like, he is a lethal 3-point shooter. Like, it feels like if he's open, it's in. So he can really stretch the floor there, but he also can post up if you have him on some smaller players. So I think they should utilize him more. 8 of 12. Like, in a game where he was 8 of 10 going into the fourth quarter, I feel like you need to get him close to 20 shots. So that's just, I just feel like, Brunson was 10 of 26. I think he was looking a little bit too much for his own offense. And you're right, they are one creator short, and they are gritty and they're tough. And it's because a lot of their picks, like outside of Karl Anthony Towns, obviously was the 1-1, they have a lot of guys who weren't really lottery picks. They have they have guys who are not like this high regard. Oh my gosh, he's just like such a talented, like the Jose Alvarado, Brunson was later picked. Like, the Josh Hart's a gritty guy. Like, they just have a lot of those style of players, so they're gonna play hard. They're gonna be gritty.
I think Bridges and OG were lottery picks, though, right?
Both OG was, and Bridges were. Yeah, like they have some talent. Don't get me wrong. Like, they have like talent, but it feels like a lot of their guys too are like a mixture of some gritty guys who are lesser, and then some. But yeah,
you know what it really is, though.
What's up?
You know what could be an easy fix? That guy we just both mentioned, Bridges. If he was the guy they traded, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. 5 first-round draft picks for. If he was that guy, because we saw the offense in Phoenix and we definitely saw it in Brooklyn, if he was even just a 17 points per game guy, that's, they beat Boston last year, so I can't say that's a team that will beat Boston, but an aggressive Mikal Bridges kind of puts you over the top, puts you in the conversation with those teams.
Or if he was traded for 2 first-round picks, you'd feel fine with his production.
Right? Exactly.
Sometimes your value is set, and like that's what you're supposed to be. Him at the end of the game, I know it was weird. I guess they didn't have a timeout, even though like they said they had a timeout on screen. So like I thought, like everyone thought, like why are they not taking one? But that's the shot that they got. Whatever. That's a game they still shouldn't have lost. CJ McCollum, shout out to CJ McCollum, because he looked great. And it reminds, like, I thought at one point Portland got to the point where they needed to break up CJ and Dame. And it's just because I thought that they were both smaller guards that were very good scorers, but they weren't great defenders. And I thought at some points during the playoffs that would get exploited, and they didn't have enough. But it wasn't because they were bad. Like CJ, it's crazy how a duo out of Weber State and Lehigh were balling. But CJ was balling. Couple 40-point games. I remember the overtime game against the Warriors. He had a big game against the Nuggets when it was like he down the stretch. He was making every big shot.
Game 7.
Yeah, and game 7, he was making every big shot for him. So that's a guy. It's a real guy. And The Knicks are in for a series, man. Like they're in for a series. This Atlanta Hawks team, you don't know what you don't know, and then you have a veteran guy who does know some stuff and's been around the block and gone to a
And a
conference finals,
coach.
and a
Coach behind the
coach.
scenes.
Yeah, yeah. No, so I just think that this Atlanta Hawks team is a real team, and though I don't think they obviously they're not a championship team, but I think they're a team that can give New York fits because they have the athletic wings to really give them some problems. So you're
And
right.
weirdly,
Sign me up for this series.
a young guy like Kuminga has
Mm,
experience too, being
yeah,
with the
no,
Warriors.
he has experience, and not just only having experience, he's been like legitimately just like a spark off the bench, and it's what the Warriors needed and what they got from him at sometimes. It's just the fact that in Golden State he needed to be the savior and the second option and the yin to the Curry yang kind of thing. But here in Atlanta, it's just, hey, be athletic, go downhill, and use your athleticism defensively. Like, hey, can you do that for 25 minutes a game? Sure. And like when Kuminga's used as that, then he's actually a very useful player. When you're trying to make him Blake Griffin, he's not.
I've been saying since Van Vliet went down that McCollum or someone like McCollum is someone that the Houston Rockets should have went and got.
Yeah.
And Atlanta goes and gets him with the Trae Young trade, and look at the dividends it's paying.
And speaking
My
of, if you want to go
we'll
there,
get
then
there.
it's
No,
like,
no, we'll get
I
there.
was
We
gonna
will
say in
for
a
sure
moment.
get there.
Speaking of,
Uh, Shit, where was I going? Oh, I was gonna say, okay, with the Bridges play. My issue with the Bridges play wasn't even that they win or that, obviously we thought there was a timeout, but that was a TV issue. I thought he should have put his head down and went to the rim. I thought he had a step on his defender. If you look back, there is a help defender there. There was probably more bodies than what it seemed like in real time to me. But I still feel like you put your head down there and you probably at least get a call or at least a better shot. I don't really love the step back there. It seemed like he had momentum heading towards the rim. Um, can I get you, Keenan? 1-1. Hawks going back home tomorrow. Can I get you to go all in on the Hawks? Are you ready to pick them over the Knicks?
you know what? I don't mind being
Oh,
wrong. Yeah, Hawks in 7. I don't mind being wrong. Hawks in 7.
Hawks in 7. It could happen. Like there's a world we are not very far from. Like I think it's for sure getting to 6. And if you can get to 6, you can get to 7, in my opinion.
I think it's 2-2 going back to New York. Then the home teams win. Then we get a game 7. And Brunson is big time. But again, we just talked about CJ McCollum being big time. And sometimes when you're young, you're either really good in those moments and sometimes really bad, but you don't know what you don't know kind of things again. And it's just like, it's not like these. And the thing is, in that game, what pressure do the Hawks have? They don't. If they lose,
All in the Knicks.
if they lose, they lose. It's just like obviously those players are going to feel pressure because they're like, we're right here, we're close, and they'll have anxiety and things like that going into the game, of course. But like when it comes to either narrative pressure, when it comes to the media pressure and all that stuff, it's like, if they go 7 with the Knicks, it's like, hey, we went 7 with a team that thought that that were like preseason favorites to get to the finals in the East. Okay. And if the Knicks lose, it's how much of this team's getting blown up? Like, how
Who's
much of
getting
it?
traded?
Like, how many of these players will be traded? Is Brunson safe? Like, it's gonna be like, honestly, that will be, not saying he should be, but I'm saying that's gonna be like a question. Like, should they get rid of Brunson? Is he good enough? So, yeah.
I believe Atlanta wins tomorrow. I think they take a 2-1 lead. I think Knicks win games 4 and 5. I think they win game 4. They win the decisive game 5, and then I think game 6 will be a battle. And honestly, I think the Knicks ultimately win in 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes 7, but I think it ends with Knicks in 6, and I think they get their backs against the wall after tomorrow.
If they do win in 6, I think game 6 is a massive Towns game. Like 35 kind of massive Towns game if they do win in game 6.
By the way, where are you leaning on? I don't think I asked you this. Orlando, Detroit. What do you think that actually ends up as?
I think Detroit in 6.
Okay, so you think they kind of control the series?
I think
You.
they do kind of control the series. It could, I mean, again, if you get 6, you can get 7, but like I think Detroit in 6 would be where I lean.
You going
Boston.
Celtics? Celtics in 5?
I'm gonna say 6 because that was my prediction, but they could easily be 5. That won't get to 7 because if that's it could be 6. It could be, unless Embiid comes back. But like if say Embiid's not, that's not getting to 7.
Embiid would be the wild card. The best chance for the Sixers would be that they win Game 3, put the pressure on Boston. Boston would likely win Game 4. You could even almost take game. I don't want to say this; it sounds ridiculous, but you could almost take Game 4 off if you're Philly. Play Game 5. Your ideal choice would be playing Game 5 without Embiid, and then maybe get him back for Game 6. Maybe. I mean, ideally, you'd want him back 2-2 Game 5, but if he really had to wait, maybe get him back for Game 6 and then try to force a Game 7. But who knows? That's a pipe dream. Quickly, we'll go through this game, Keenan. Thunder and Suns. It's a 6-point game right now. Phoenix is competing, which you'd expect because they're well coached and they do have guys on their team. I think I picked this a sweep. I'm going to keep it a sweep, and I think eventually the Thunder open this game up. Maybe not a complete blowout, but maybe a 15-point win. Anything from you from this game, I guess, that sways you otherwise?
Nope. Just no. Just no. I'm gonna be dumbfounded if the series gets to 6. I'll be dumbfounded if the series gets to 6. I'll give the Suns a game, and even after game 1, I'm like, no. Shea has been off for Shea so far. He was 4 of 8 today. It feels like he's kind of trying to really find it, pressing a little bit, like he's like really trying to find that shot. Just something to keep a squint eye on. Not that I think it's going to just completely linger, but you can go on those cold spell stretches, and that's something in the second round could plague them. If, depending on who they get and what the matchups are looking like, most likely for the LA Lakers, if they can get Luka and Austin Reeves back, because this Houston team said no.
Hold it there, because I do not want to get to them yet. By the way, I mean, I think, like I said, this game's competitive. I could see the Suns having a actual lead in Game 3, riding that momentum, and then SGA kind of shutting shit down in the 4th, along with their.
There will be one game in this series that's really close, and that will be the determination between a sweep and a 5-game series.
I agree. Spurs Blazers. Game 1, Spurs came out like world beaters.
More interesting.
Game 2, Wemby gets injured. Scoot Henderson legacy game happens in Game 2, which was unreal. That's a type of win I would have, because I picked this Spurs in 6. I thought it was going to be a bit of a tougher series than what was maybe expected. That's the kind of game I expected out of them with Wemby playing, and it happened without Wemby. He will likely, this is funny to me, I don't love that he's concussed, obviously, and I think he'll miss Game 3. I think he'll be back for Game 4. What I think is funny to me, though, Keenan, is that in the NFL, the concussion protocol is a week at least. Like minimum, you're missing that first game. In the NBA, it's 48 hours. Sure, probably there's different severities of concussions, but like a concussion's a concussion at the end of the day. If you got one on Wednesday, or what happened last night was Tuesday. If he had it last Tuesday, he'll probably be concussed next Tuesday. Like cobwebs will still be there. So that just made me laugh when I heard that 48 hours is the concussion protocol. How are you feeling at 1-1 with Wemby likely being out and going on the road to Portland?
A little nervous. Where if they would have kept the 14-point lead they built in the 4th quarter, be chilling. Because it'd be like, okay, they're up 2-0. Even if they lose both in Portland, now it's back 2-2. Most likely Wemby's back for Game 5. And I'll take a best-of-3 series if necessary against Portland with Wemby in the full rep. Now we have to get one in Portland. And, I mean, they have the team to do it. I think that right now it's without Wemby. Honestly, this series, if you said before the series, I would say this is a 6 or a 7-game series that I would lean the Spurs. But they now match like talent for talent, and you easily can say that the Blazers have the best player on the floor in Denny Advia. Like, I think Stephon Castle's right there, but to debate for sure. If not, you lean Denny. So De'Aaron Fox, too, like this is where you get a guy like that. You're like, okay, this is a all NBA, can be an all NBA caliber player. He's been in at least a first round war before. This is where you call on his veteran expertise and the talent that he has. But I think
I
this
wanted
is
more from him. I wanted more from him last night's game.
6 of 16. Stephon Castle was 7 of 20. Castle shooting 33% in this series. They have not been efficient. They need to be efficient in at least one, if not two, of these games. Like this, it's got to be a group effort. Dylan Harper, I like the way he has played off the bench. He's going to need to be even more. I think he needs to be just more aggressive with his shot. But overall, that Portland crowd in Game 3 is going to be rocking. Crowd, especially because now and not that they didn't feel like they had a chance before, but with Wemby, it's really hard to talk yourself into we're going to beat him 4 times. You can talk yourself into beating the Spurs twice at home with probably no Wemby for 1 game and maybe no Wemby for 2. So
Could happen.
You can talk yourself into that. So
I think they ultimately split. I think Portland.
I think it's still Spurs in 6, and they split in Portland. That's how I see it.
What Portland will not have tomorrow, apparently. Wait, do they play tomorrow? It's either tomorrow or Friday. Either way,
they play Friday.
Either way, what they will not have is the playoff T-shirts. Keen, I don't know if you've been following the story or heard anything about it, but their owner is apparently obnoxiously cheap.
Yeah, they don't want to play splitter. They I think they had made him take a team bus 40 or something.
They won't. He won't pay for late checkouts at hotels.
Yep.
Staff has to be out by 12:30. He won't, as I just mentioned, he won't pay for playoff T-shirts. That's too expensive. He won't pay for like extra staffers to have their own hotel rooms. He won't pay for two-way players to go to away games for them to get hotels, so they're just like at home. This guy is obnoxiously cheap, and he's a billionaire who just bought the team.
Yeah.
I say that to say, like, this is a great story. They've got Danny Advia. Scoot Henderson's apparently like coming into his own right now. What will it matter if and Thiago Splitter took over for Chauncey after game 1, has done a great job, clearly, right? 1-1 in the playoffs, first round. And he's actively looking for guys to replace him. I'm just going to say right now, Thiago's probably not going to be back because he wants to pay him like 1.5 mil, somewhere between that and 4 mil. And he wants to just get these coaches who want to coach for cheap. Okay. If that's the case with your coach, who's not even like counted towards the cap, how are you going to repay, or how are you going to pay an extension for someone like Danny Advia? How are you going to retain guys like, let's say Scoot has an all-star season, one of these next 2 seasons. How are you going to retain him if you're just going to constantly lowball these guys? So whatever this first round might be, Keenan, I'm not kidding, and I don't want to like shit on Trailblazers fans. This literally could be the peak for this guy's era.
No,
for however long this guy's the owner is. If you're not going to pay coaches, you're damn sure not going to pay players. So then what comes of this team if you're not going to pay anybody?
Yeah.
You're not going to get free agents.
Bill Simmons and Zach Lowe were kind of joking. They're like, they should just go find the biggest kind of zag or just like out there coach in Portland, like from a high school, and just sign him. Cause like, just, hey, here's $750,000 a year. Come coach the team. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? How poor are we?
You're a billionaire.
What are we doing? And these are the people who shouldn't own franchises. I'm sorry. Like, you can't pay Thiago Splitter comes into a very tough situation. A young team who just had their coach just said, hey, well, yeah, with that whole situation. And he comes in, gets them to the play-in. Denny puts up 41, 7, and 12 in the play-in. They get to the Spurs, and then good coaching down the stretch and great play gets them 1-1 with a 62-win team. I understand they were out Wemby. They're 12-6 without Wemby this year. Like, what? What are we doing? Pay your play. Like, Portland has something there to be like, they have the coach. I think Thiago, at least give him another shot. Like, I think he's been a good enough coach to where You've got a coach, you've got some players, get a couple, maybe a draft pick, maybe someone, you can get someone in free agency or something, and you could do. But yeah, you're right. If this is the peak, shout out to them, which means that this series means a whole lot to them. But I think still Spurs in 6. I think Wemby is back for game 5 because I think the Spurs win game 3. They rest him for game 4. He comes back for 5, is how my mindset is. But I think if they lose game 3, then it's going to be real interesting if Wemby comes back. Because then going down 3-1, can they come back? Sure, because we've seen 3-1 comebacks, but it's not anything you want to put yourself in a situation of. So,
Quick question before we move on to Lakers Rockets.
Yeah.
I don't want to remain negative, but if we ended up we got the 7th seed, legitimately the 7th seed in the West, which was the Phoenix Suns, dropped to the 8 to play the Thunder, and we got who was legitimately the 8th seed and the Trailblazers move up 1 spot to play the Spurs. What the hell did that accomplish? What the hell did the play-in accomplish exactly if we just flip spots?
It accomplished a Steph Curry and Draymond Green legacy play-in game. That's it.
And a Denny legacy playoff
And a
game.
Denny legacy play-in game
Play-in.
that have no
All right.
stats. That you won't.
Don't count. They don't count. Yeah,
You have those are just going to be the memories. Like we'll have just a memory of 41, 7, and 12, or 35 from Steph and the Draymond defensive play against Kawhi. Just memories.
Let me
That's
hear your
all.
thoughts on Lakers Rockets so far.
So I thought that the Lakers were not going to get more than 1. I thought it was going to be a 5-game series. Once I've actually bet the Lakers to win in both games. So contradicting my own preseason or my series thoughts. 1, because Kevin Durant was out for game 1, and once that happened, I was like, I don't really think the Rockets can generate a lot of offense without Kevin Durant. And then I was like, if LeBron's going to go all out in this game because he sees now a very big opportunity without Kevin Durant in game 1. So I was like, okay, I think they're going to win that game. And then I was like, I bet them for game 2 early because I was like, I don't know if Durant plays, and let me get it while it's plus money, because if Durant doesn't play, then I was trying to play the odds a little bit, but I still thought that they could win even with Durant. Yeah, the series is over. I don't 9 turnovers for Durant. He's got 3 points in the second half. He just said, I'm not shooting. The double teams came and they said not shooting, and there was just no way for them to get him open. How could you? Is that the first time Ime and the Rockets have seen a double team? Durant's been double teamed since he was 5. Like what? Like what do you mean you can only get 4 shots in the second half? Like what do you mean? I have no faith after I watched that game. That was atrocious. I don't.
You said everything. You said everything I was gonna say. Down to I was gonna ask you when do you think the last time Kevin Durant was not double teamed?
Like what? What do you mean?
So I mean, echo everything you just said. I too, Keenan, I bet the Lakers once I found out Durant wasn't playing in game 1, especially because it was still plus money. Like, okay. Like, and you know what the craziest thing about that is? I looked at it like, okay, it's obviously a minor injury because there was footage of Durant shooting around pregame, like an hour before the game, right? So obviously it was minor. We find out it happened in practice, whatever. So I figure he's coming back for game 2. I'm thinking game 1 that LeBron's going to go for 30. Like, really just try to at least put a stamp on the series, go up 1, and he didn't.
Same.
That was the ugliest game of the playoffs. Honestly, the worst game of the playoffs. That's including blowouts. That was an ugly ass game. It was not a fun watch at all. Then we get to game 2 last night. Durant's back. I'm like, all right, Rockets should win this game. The Lakers have no offense. Lakers, to my surprise, not only come out swinging, but come out throwing haymakers. Marcus Smart looked like goddamn Peja Stojakovic to start the game. Luke Kennard, as we said, he's averaging 25 in this
Gale
series.
Goodrich Kennard is out there averaging 25 a game. What are we doing?
And LeBron actually had his more aggressive offensive game yesterday, which surprised me, which is a great sign if you're a Lakers fan. But the surprise to me, again, is exactly everything you just said. Ime looks, I can't believe this guy got to a finals. He looks like an unbelievably unprepared coach. JJ is coaching circles around him right now. And as much as I want to blame him because he's the head coach, and it's like you had all season, you knew that your real only offensive option aside from Kevin Durant was Sengun, fine, who has a unique style of play, fine. Yeah, Ime should be a little better, past game 82, third game in the playoffs, right? Game 85, actually. Yeah, we get it. He should be better. Kevin Durant, and this falls with Ime too, actually. They played the Lakers mid-March, I think, before Luka's injury, twice in 1 week. And this is exactly what they threw at Kevin Durant in the fourth quarter. They did not let him get the ball, basically past the hash mark, the deep hash, right? Where you get past half court, they double him. They want the ball out of his hands. Fine. I found myself, Keenan, thinking about Kevin Durant, like all those years where we blamed Russell Westbrook for all those mishaps in OKC where they would kind of go stagnant in the fourth quarter. But yet we got Kevin Durant, one of the best offensive players of all time, who can't handle a double team, which is literally the first kind of crazy defense you would see if you're a scorer. Like that's the first thing they're going to throw to counter you is a double team.
I'm not Kevin Durant. I've seen multiple double teams throughout my novice basketball career. Like, what are we doing?
I don't understand how lost Durant looks. Once he gives up the ball too, he's disengaged. He kind of just stays at half court, not in the play. So you're playing 4-on-5. If this is how the series continues, Keenan, if he's really just going to be locked up strictly from double teams, I'm not going to know I already don't know what to make of his career, but I'm really not going to know what to make of his career.
Not to be ESPN, but this is a legacy hit. Like, I'm sorry, but
if they can't get past the Lakers without Luka and Austin Reeves, and you got goddamn Luke Kennard and Marcus Smart being not only the second and third best players on the Lakers, but possibly the second and third best players on the court.
You could have convinced me this is the 2017 Cavs, and you've got Kyrie and Kevin Love, and because Rui Hachimura is playing very well too. He's been shooting great. Like, this is bad. They look bad. Like,
and the Lakers look fresh. Like, all props to JJ, but I mean,
and LeBron. Shout out to LeBron still being able to turn back the clock. Essentially, he had 19 and 13 in game 1, 28, 8 and 7 in game 2. Like, I don't get it. It makes no sense to me because the Rockets team look like they're starting to turn it around a little bit, and they just can't seem to handle a double team. And here's the problem with the double team is they don't have legitimate ball handlers that they feel comfortable making plays because
they didn't go out and get a point guard.
Because they don't go out and get a point guard, because that would make everything so much easier, because then you could run Durant off some pin downs and get him on some mismatches where it's a 2-dribble pull-up and not him 38 feet from the basket and then being able to double team him and then him not wanting to get back in the play.
And even if not, Keenan, what would be the problem with when he does give up the ball after the double team? Why can't he just go park his ass either mid-post or on the block? He has a post game. He has a fadeaway game. He's not even trying to go get the ball back.
Yeah,
that's what I don't understand. He looks like he's just as perplexed as Ime. Again, I don't even feel bad for the Rockets to be in the spot because they could have got someone like CJ. They could have got anyone who. The answer was obviously
Bones Highland would have worked well for them. Like
anybody, any fucking buddy.
There's
no way they lose game 3, right? There's no way
I'm not writing it off. I am not. I would bet they win game
4th. If this game's close in the 4th and it's double team city, they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
If the Rockets win, it needs to be a double-digit win. They're not winning a close game against the Lakers. They're just not. They can't get consistent enough offense. They don't have the shooters to space the floor, and they can't get consistent enough offense because apparently a double team is like putting 4 on Mike. Like, I just didn't. I just didn't know. Like, I guess, heck, why don't we double team Jokic? Apparently it works with every, like, and this is the thing with Durant too, when we're talking greatest scorers of all time. This isn't the first time that I've been perplexed at a Kevin Durant series. Like in Brooklyn, there was like Boston just took him out of the series. Tony Allen, Tony Allen's a great defender, but Tony Allen once took him out of a Memphis series, like just took him out of the series. It's just, there's certain things with Durant where it's, again, A triple plus talent and sometimes an A resume. And it's just like there's certain aspects. But then when he was in the flow state, I'll call it, when he was against Milwaukee, they were just doing whatever he wanted to. 40 point triple doubles and 48 in the game 7, just doing whatever you wanted to. Or obviously on Golden State, when clearly Steph is what people are like defending because like he is the engine of the offense. It's like, oh, no one's doubling me, just a 2 dribble fadeaway. Or it's like, oh, they can't double me. It's Klay Thompson's score. That's not going to work. So obviously, when you have Durant in the best situations possible, he is as lethal of a scorer as we've ever seen because he can get to whatever shot he wants from wherever he wants. But I guess the double team seems to throw him off. You better figure it out quick, because if he doesn't figure it out quick, he's going to be home quickly, and it's going to be a problem.
I'm with you. I can't imagine the Rockets come back and win this series just based off coaching alone, just based on how unprepared they look alone. I do think they win game 3. I will give them that. They probably even tie up the series, Keenan. But even with that, it would be hard for me to believe that they can like get their shit together for 4 straight games, or even if it gets to game 7. If it gets to game 7, I'm picking LeBron all day in this one.
And I hope at this point they lose. They're going to do nothing against the Thunder.
Even with that, I agree with you. I'd rather see LA play the Thunder than the Rockets. But like, as I said on our last podcast, Twitter doctor said like the injury that Luka has, he wouldn't be 100% until July. So there's like a high re-injury risk with him. He'd probably come back in round 2. Reeves looked like he could play, by the sounds of it, he could play maybe by the end of this series, but definitely by the time the next series starts. So who knows? But they would at least definitely be the better watch. Like if they can't handle the Lakers defense, what do you you will get raped by the Thunder defense.
What is Mark Dagnall going to see when he's like, wait, they're struggling with a double team and we get away with what we get away with, physicality on the outside? Durant might average 15. Like Caruso would be all over him. Like it just, no.
Reed Shepherd might be put in like an orphanage after that series. Like he wouldn't be able to dribble past half court.
It's like, and this is where I guess you wish Amen Thompson had a little bit more offensive game to him, because this is where he would be.
It'll come.
He had a little bit. It will. It will. Like obviously, and I have all the faith in the world in him. Like it will. This is where you wish he had a little bit more of a jumper, where he had a little bit more of an offensive game, because he could really be like, his athleticism alone could just ruin the series. And this is also like, would Jalen Green on this Rockets team make any difference?
It wouldn't have, and that's what gets me. And I don't want to say too much on this because we're gonna move on to our last series. But I just can't believe, like, if you trade Jalen Green for Kevin Durant, you're obviously in win now mode with Kevin Durant. You're saying we want to go win a championship. Fine. Van Vliet gets injured in the offseason. You had from the offseason up until the trade deadline to go get any semblance of a point guard, even if it's a combo guard like a lot of these guys do, instead of a true point. But you had someone who can at least handle the ball. You showed us last year Reed Shepherd wasn't ready. So why would he be ready in year 2 when he didn't play much in year 1, right? Instead, they neglect the position. And again, we know you're in win now mode because you traded for Kevin Durant. We know it's not a 2-year thing. So why are you throwing away this year 1 with no point guard? And like, oh, by the way, Steven Adams is injured too. Like, at least go get a creator. Just get a creator. Even if it's a wing, get a creator. Doesn't have to be a guard necessarily.
Like, how long It'd be different if it was, say, the Lakers and Luka. Like, just say, like, LeBron got injured and Austin got injured and Luka's in right now. And we knew that going into the season. You don't need to get much because though every year is a win now mode with Luka, you still have a long runway of time. Kevin Durant's got at max 3 years left, and you've wasted one of them because of your, I guess, incompetency of
And he,
realizing, hey, we
and he
need to
might be
have
onto another head coach, by the way, next year.
yeah, like, hey, we need a creator. We've seen Kevin Durant orchestrate an offense? Sure. Is that his strength? No. Like, get somebody who can heck, Chris Paul, you want to come play basketball?
Could have broadcast Chris Paul back, that's for sure. Maybe
Like,
if they call Chris Paul during the series and sign him, that would be amazing.
like, are you kidding me? Like,
Do the Phillip
Chris
Rivers.
Paul, do you want to come play he would have been perfect.
He can at least dribble the ball.
He can dribble the ball past half court, and I promise you he can run an offense. He can still do that.
Whenever the day is that LeBron retires, he will be worthy of his own podcast on here. I cannot wait for the day we do a Kevin Durant podcast because I can't emphasize enough, Keenan, when he came in the league in 2007 or even 2010 when he made his first playoffs or 2012 when he made his first finals. If you would have told me this is how his career goes down from everything that happened from 2016 on, it's unreal. It is unreal.
But it's weird because if you look at the totality of his career,
Makes no
I would
sense.
subscribe to it though. He was an MVP, a perennial All NBA guy, perennial All Star, 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP. Maybe breaks Kareem's record for most points or for second most points all time. If you said that was his career, I would say okay.
Quick question.
But if you watch it, you're like, wait a second, he could have done so much more. So it's crazy because of where everything is. Yeah, what's up?
Real quick. If this is James Harden instead of Kevin Durant there on the Rockets last night, how does he handle that double? He at least, like, they probably take him out of the game, but for all the shit we talk about with James Harden, I think he actually at least solves the double team. Durant flat out couldn't solve it. Which, by the way,
probably win game 2. I'm not gonna lie to you.
One thing I will give, the only thing I'll give Kevin Durant here, the only saving grace I'll give him is they have no offensive personnel to give him when he gets double teamed. There's really no one who can just step out there and get him a shot. Sengun is 15 feet and in, loves backing down his player before he puts up an ugly ass hook shot, whatever. But so that's one thing I'll give Durant. He doesn't have much to work with, but I can't imagine Harden or Westbrook, to talk about the original big three there in OKC. I can't imagine either one of those two going out the way he did, where it's like he just looked confused by it.
Westbrook would have. I think there's actually a chance that with this year's right now Harden, there might have been a better chance for them to win that game than with Kevin Durant. With this Westbrook right now, I don't think so. But with this Harden, because he's willing to take the shot.
Prime Westbrook, but I hear you.
I know what you're saying. Prime Westbrook, prime Harden. But I'm just saying, like, right, because you mentioned Harden. I mean, right now, take him off the Cavs and put him in that game too. They have a better chance of winning, especially in that second half. Just because he's handling the double team better. He is getting the team in offense better. He is a better passer. So, because Kevin Durant had 9 turnovers. Let's not look past that. Like, 9 turnovers. Harden has those games in the game 6 when he looks like he doesn't want to be there. This is a game 2. He'd been chilling. Like, he would have been playing some I don't know. We can go on to the series that I'm most excited about.
Unbelievable series, Keenan. I love this series. Real quick, let me give you my notes from game 1. I put Wolves played low IQ basketball down the stretch. Didn't love it. They went away from Julius Randle. I thought there was actually too much Ant at the end of game 1. There were certain plays where I was like, Ant, what are you doing? Which I don't find myself saying often.
Yeah.
Game 2, I wrote a classic, best game of the playoffs so far. I think that still holds true as of tonight.
Agreed.
Could see Minnesota going up 2-1. They have no answer for Jokic, which no surprise, even though Gobert played him well. Got stops on him. What did we say? 2 for 16 with Gobert and Jaden McDaniels on him and Jamal Murray. But Minnesota is built for a championship and has been for 4 seasons. Incredible game, incredible rivalry. I know it's early, but to some degree, this feels like whoever wins the series will win the conference finals or be in the conference finals. Didn't put win the conference finals. Be in the conference finals. What's up? What's up? I missed it.
I'm sorry. So Shea just hit a shot over Dylan Brooks and was literally like
I think I'm about to
pointing
see
at.
it.
He was just like the
Yeah, I see
entire
it.
time down the court, just.
I see it.
just
He's like, this thing right here.
It's like, this guy, he can't do a thing with me. I love how Dylan Brooks is
You
the
rarely
punching
see
bag of the
SGA do
league.
something like that.
It's because it's Dylan Brooks. He's the punching bag of the league, but also he's a player that you want on your team because he's willing to play gritty and hard. But
We need more
going
of 'em.
back to this series, you are correct in about every, like, your notes that you took on this series. Because game 1, same way I kind of felt in the Knicks game 2, where I was like, the Stars doing a little bit too much of just hunting for his own shot. And it's like, okay. And then game 2, it was like, oh, okay, and this is what I like to see. They played really well on Jokic. They played really well on Murray past the midway point of the third because he had 26 and then just went from there. And that's what this series is. It's two teams who know each other so well at this point. They've played in like the last 4 playoffs, I think it is, in a row. And
did they play last year?
I think that might be the only year they didn't play.
Yeah, no, they didn't last year. They were
No,
in
they
separate
didn't.
parts of the
They didn't.
bracket.
Like 3 of the last 4 they've played in, but
Yep.
3 of the last 4 they've played in. But yeah, this is a rivalry at this point. Like, it's official. It's a rivalry. I mean, you can't see each other this much in the playoffs. There's not like a full disdain, but like you can tell that each team's obviously super competitive. And they're built different, which is what's cool. Like, the Timberwolves actively tried to go out there to be built to beat the Nuggets. That's why they traded 4 first-round picks for Rudy Gobert. And Rudy Gobert, to his credit, I didn't like the trade at all. Not the fact that he went to the Timberwolves, but the fact that they spent 4 first-round picks on him. Looks better, too, now that he's being more useful than Bridges is. So, but
And he's actually a Hall of Famer, at least.
Yeah. So in history, it's going to look a little bit like Hall of Famer traded for 4
Bridges never been an All-Star.
Yeah, so 100%. But I'm signing up for 7. Series will end on May 2nd in Game 7. I mean, I had this in 7 before. The Nuggets in 7's what I had before, and I still have Nuggets in 7. But again, if they get to a Game 7, Timberwolves, hey, we spotted you 20 in Denver and we beat you in a Game 7 a couple years ago. And there's not really anyone different from that team. So they are going to feel ultra confident that they can go into Denver in a Game 7 and win because they've done it. And Ant is afraid of nobody. So as long as his knee stays right, which I'm hoping to the gods, we're going to knock on wood just because I said it out loud, I'm hoping to the gods that everything's there. We've got a series. And then the win, I need the Spurs to win because obviously the Blazers, good story and everything, but obviously we'll get the better, in my opinion, get the better series with either team if it's the Spurs. But we got one heck of a second round matchup, either win. Spurs, Timberwolves, Spurs, Nuggets. We've got a great second round matchup regardless. So, this series, I don't have much to say other than they're going to continue to trade heavyweight blows, and both of these teams could get to a finals, and it would beginning not to really shock me.
T-Wolves, they might be, I'm sure there's other teams across history, but I can't think of another team that's not been to the finals that I look at and I'm like, yeah, they got everything you would need for a championship team. They carry themselves
Detroit Lions, because they just
Detroit, I've said that about football, but I'm talking about NBA.
I'm just saying, like, I was comparing them because, like, you said that exact same thing about Detroit, like the way they carry themselves, the way they act. It's kind of the same.
They carry themselves very professionally, but it's different in the NBA. In the NBA, you like almost got to earn your stripes.
Oh yeah,
which the T-Wolves have. They've been to conference finals, but they carried themselves like this from early on, and the fact that they've carried on after the cat trade, they've still found they held on to Nas Reed. they were able to get rid of Nikhil or let him go in free agency because they have Dante, who essentially plays the same role. Um, they just they get the right players around him. Like that team is still the exact same team that had Towns and Nikhil because of Dante and Nas Reed. Less so Nas Reed because Nas Reed's a dog, so like he's
Yeah.
always been there. So like he made
And then
Towns
you
expendable.
pick up Ayo, you pick up Bones. Like they've
Oh my
got
god,
real. They
I love
the
this team.
GM.
It's funny because Tim Connolly, he's the one who built the Nuggets too. Like he
Yes.
had a hand in both these teams. Keenan, you would know because you said you listened to this podcast with Zach Lowe and Simmons on Sunday. I believe Zach Lowe brought up a stat where he said before the series started, they were like the score was like 255 to 254, like in total points from this year from the season, maybe or something like that. I don't know. It was some
Over the
ridiculous stat like
last
that.
3 years, I think they've played 30 times and they're 15-15 or something like
That
that.
could be
too.
it.
Like
That was something like that.
like
It
they
was
are
something when the
just
shit was dead on.
they're just like dead down the middle.
This series, Keenan, it's so the series we got 2 years ago were Minnesota 1-7. Game 7 was a classic. The rest of that series was really blowouts. Like it wasn't a great series. Game 7 was the classic.
Yeah.
We've already got a classic in game 2, and I don't see anything changing there. And game 1 was a really good game that I thought Minnesota, again, they just kind of lost it down the stretch. I see more of the same. Did you hear what Jaden McDaniel said about the Nuggets defense? Where he said every single player on their team is a bad defender. Um, I love it. And clearly there are strategies to just attack the rim. Now we got to see how the Nuggets combat that. The Nuggets are going to be fine. I picked them in 6. Not gonna lie, after game 2, I think it looks more like a 7-game series. Obviously, it was obviously either going to be 6 or 7. The Timberwolves obviously are not afraid. I don't know. If don't poke the bear with Jokic if he has another level to go up to, which he might, which we've seen a few times. But one thing I thought was interesting in game 2 that we saw from that series 2 years ago, which was the T-Wolves wore his ass out. They let Gobert bump him, or they let Towns or Nas, whoever was guarding him, they let him kind of wear him out. Randall even got some time on him. And then you'd see it on the pick and pop, man. He'd have time for threes, and he'd kind of sit there and think about it. And by the time the shot went up, it was often a clank. And we saw a lot of that in game 2. I think he went 1 of 7 from 3 in game 2.
Yeah, he's not shooting well from 3.
And he shot incredibly well last year from 3, as well as this year. Like since that series that they lost to Minnesota, he had proved his 3 a lot. And it looked a lot like 2 years ago coming out of game 2. I can't wait. I would pay for this series if they put this behind like a paywall, which technically they do with like Peacock and all that. But seriously, if this was a pay-per-view series, I would buy whatever amount of money for this series. It's incredible. And I do not see it slowing down. Maybe we get a blowout or 2 here, but by and large, I think it's going to be maybe the best series of the entire postseason. It's got that kind of possibility to it.
It's gonna be there. It's up there. See, like I think the West is gonna have one series per round to me. That's gonna be that. So
Cinema.
I think the second round, whatever the 2-3, the 2-6, hopefully matchup is, that's gonna be that. And it'll be cinema on the other side if the Lakers, which me and you are both now picking the Lakers to win that series. There's no way they're not. I know with what I've seen from me, there's no way they're not. With the way that's come back.
If we can get steroids Luka with LeBron.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
The Austin Reeves.
That's what I'm saying. If we got Austin, LeBron, and then you get 80% of Luka, maybe that series could be interesting against the Thunder, and maybe the Thunder just say, you know what, we're much better.
Give Luka steroids, let him get popped, because guess what? If they win the ring, we know Adam Silver won't take it away from him. So give Luka whatever steroids we need. Give him that Barry Bonds. Give him whatever. Give him the Lance Armstrong package, whatever it is. Give him that A-Rod. Adam Silver will not do anything.
That Roger Clemens. Give him the Clemens.
The Roger Clemens. The deer antler spray.
Give him that Clemens.
The Ray Lewis.
But yeah, no, but the same thing as you were saying with Jokic possibly going up to another level, and can do that. Like, which is what makes the series so great. And
fantastic.
The playoffs every time, and this is the last thing I'm going to say on the whole playoffs, it really, as we know, it just brings out the best in who is who and who does what. All of the greats, every single one of like your all-time greats have those games in the playoffs. You're like, man, this guy is special. Like we just can't do anything with him. And that's why And is so intriguing as a player. He hasn't had really those regular seasons that people really look to yet, but hey, Durant's my favorite player. I'll sweep him off the floor. Hey, we'll come back. We'll win game 7 in Denver. We'll get to the conference finals when they tell us we can't. Okay, then we'll go blow out the Lakers when people are on the Lakers bandwagon and just say, we'll get them out of here. Like, they just continue to, he's just like usually the leader of teams that are continuing to do that. And if he can do that again, even if he doesn't get to the finals this year, it just shows how great of a basketball player he is. And it's tough in the regular season. You don't think, oh, top 4, top 5, but postseason comes around. It's hard to name 5 guys you'd rather have than he is.
He's definitely 6. He's definitely in like that Tatum zone where it's like he's not the other guys, but he's right there, and he can beat the other guys. Give him a squad, and he can absolutely beat the other guys.
100%. And there's always guys like that that's been like that in the league where it's like he might not have the hardware that a Jokic has, but you give him that talent, yeah, he's got you.
That's why I hate the NBA discourse around accolades or who's better than who, because oftentimes in these postseasons, you get to these moments where you're like, I really don't know who's going to win. And then it takes Ant going up to another level, or Jokic, or whoever going up to another level, like Luka against Phoenix a couple years ago. We never would have guessed that.
It's D Wade. Like that's what he reminds me of. Like, D Wade doesn't have like those regular season accolades, no MVPs, few All NBAs, of course, All Star, of course, because if you're that good, you're gonna always be an All Star. But he doesn't have even the Steve Nash accolades or like these great guys accolades. But when it came to the playoffs, it was he can go get you a game. It doesn't matter who you're playing against, doesn't matter anything. And that's the same way you feel about Ant. It's like he might not have it in the regular season when it comes to the accolades, but when it comes to playoffs, you are scared having to plan for this guy because at any point, 40 can go up. Any point. And that's what you love about it. But obviously, all these other guys can do that too. Shea can go get you 40. Jokic, Wemby, Wemby got you 35 in game 1 of his playoff career. So we assume Luka clearly.
What I love about these playoff series, Keenan, before we go, and you'd mentioned this why you love the NBA over the NFL playoffs slightly, is because of the ebbs and flows. But to me, and I've never really thought about this, weirdly, as much as I've watched the playoffs, but when you got these homestands, like 2 games, then 2, they break up into mini series. Games 1 and 2 feels like its own series. Games 3 and 4 is when you finally get the adjustments, really. It's the feel-out stage is over. You get adjustments. The guys get annoyed with each other. The games get a little more chippy. So 3 and 4 feel much different from games 1 and 2. And then 5, 6, and 7 are like their own world entirely. Because game 5s are mini game 7s to me. Game 6, you're fighting for your life. Someone's down 3-2. And then, of course, game 7's game 7. We ain't got to say anything about that. But, oftentimes games 5 and 6, that either feels like its own series or they feel like 3 separate entities altogether. So I just love it. I love the play. You might have swayed me, honestly. I might like the NBA playoffs slightly.
And that's kind of where, obviously, when it comes to just being a pinnacle, the NFL like gets to that pinnacle quicker. But it's the slow buildup of the games. Like,
when you get a series like this, when you get a T-Wolves Nuggets, there is nothing better than like having to sit through those 1 or 2 days in between when you're like, I don't know what's gonna like
the Knicks Hawks. Same thing, Knicks Hawks. Like after game 1, you're like, okay, New York did what they're supposed to do. All it took was a bad fourth quarter, and now you're like, are they gonna get it? And then they could blow the Hawks out in game 3 and be like, they're fine. Then they could lose a tough one in game 4. You're like, 2-2 going back, game 5. Like, it's just, there's so much ups and downs. And, like, obviously you have that in an NFL game, but it's all within usually a 60-minute span. So it's like such a short time where it gets to live, it gets to breathe, you get to have real discourse and talk afterwards. And then it's the anticipation. And then when you get to those game 7 moments, you're like, now it's really winner take all. So that's to me why I like the NBA playoffs more than anything else, is because you get that buildup, you get that buildup, you get that buildup, and then even the game fours when you're down 2-1, those are huge moments. Because those are
Yeah.
because those are almost do or die games. Obviously, you can come back from 3-1 technically, but like those are your do or die games too. And it really just shows who's who. But that's all I got. We'll talk about the NBA playoffs more as they go on. But
Much more.
you're right.
Much more, much more. Yeah, you might get more podcasts of like this running diary here. It
Mhm.
was cool to bounce off my thoughts to
Yeah.
you and get your thoughts from the first round so far.
Mhm.
We caught it at a perfect point where all the game twos are finished and this is the last game two. So like we really capturing our thoughts from the
The
first
homestands. Yep.
the homestands. Yeah. Um listen, this was the Warner Brothers podcast. This was Kyle and Keenan. It is 62-54. 51 seconds left, maybe about to be 62-55. Yes, Thunder up 7, heading towards the half. Um, listen, we will be back very soon reviewing the draft. Go check out part 1 of this podcast, which has got Keenan, Timmy, and I talking about the NFL draft, what to expect, what we would do in certain situations. Then obviously this podcast, much more from the NFL, much more from the NBA, obviously over the next coming months. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Man, I always forget these Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Or I feel like there's 8, but they're always the same
Eh,
5. But,
Warner Brothers podcast on everything.
yeah, absolutely. We'll be back. Peace. Yeah, honestly, if this if this podcast went out before the draft one, I wouldn't mind. If we had clips though for the draft, like you said, to me the clips would almost be more important because I feel like the draft would even make sense post first round, going into that Friday. But this one when it came out, excuse me. This one when we recorded it during this, the halftime of the homestand, last game of the homestand, I think it would fit more coming out tomorrow, especially heading towards the game threes. Um, real quick, last thing I was gonna say on the pod with the stupid NBA arguments. Someone if the Hawks end up losing to the Knicks, people will just never talk about CJ McCollum and like the series he had again. And he's like a legit playoff guy, and no one's gonna talk about him if they lose. You're glitching out. What's that? Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, if the Hawks lose to the Knicks and CJ continues to play this well, unless he goes to another team and I don't know, goes to a conference finals, people are just gonna forget about him. Like he never was a playoff guy. And that's the shit I hate. There's a ton of guys like CJ McCollum who've played extremely well in playoffs and they just get forgotten about for whatever reason. And people you know, just subtract it to just LeBron versus Durant versus Steph you know what I mean? Like they just subtract it to the stars essentially. Just forgotten about. Just just you saying that, I forget if it was yesterday or today, but I think it was today actually, but I saw for the first time in quite a while, someone commented on something. They're like, it was about I think it was about Curry, LeBron, and Durant, about their legacies, brand new topic, and someone was like, "Only one Finals MVP for Curry," and I'm like, "Oh my god, I have not heard that one forever," and I wish to not hear it again. NBA online discourse is the most retarded thing in the world with a capital R. Yeah, do they think he was, 4th in voting the year Iggy got it too? Like, do they think, he was just out of the question? Like, it was obviously him or Like Iggy got it. I don't really know why Iggy got it, to be honest with you, but yeah, it definitely could have. If you're free tomorrow, hop on the Is the Hype Real podcast with us at 9. Yeah, if you're free at 9, definitely hop on because I'm sure we'll be talking about playoffs. I think weirdly enough, we'll be doing our picks tomorrow because we didn't do them last week, which is weird. But all right, I'm out of here.